No one talks about the abuse you can't see. Not the bruises, not the headlines, the kind that lives in tone, in control, in humiliation, in constant correction. This is soft authority. Let's get into it. What I've noticed, if we normalize mental strain, we've normalized emotional manipulation, we've normalized verbal degradation, especially when it's wrapped in authority, especially when it's wrapped in religion, especially when it's wrapped in correction. But Jesus does not put us here to be treated horribly. There's a difference between conviction and control, between correction and humiliation, between leadership and domination. And some people blur that line. Look at the Pharisees. They didn't bruise Jesus physically first. They questioned him constantly, challenged his authority publicly, tried to trap him in words, twisted his statements, mocked him, discredited him. That's emotional and verbal pressure, religious pressure, and it was constant. They weaponized shame. They weaponized law. They weaponized reputation, not to build people, but to control them. And some of you have experienced that. Not fists, but fear. Not physical harm, but constant mental tension. Walking on eggshells, over-explaining yourself, bracing for criticism. That is not love. Jesus confronted systems that misused power. He flipped tables over exploitation. He called out hypocrisy. But notice this, he did not internalize their projections. He did not shrink under their questioning. He did not adjust his assignment to make them comfortable. That's soft authority. Abuse that you can't see often sounds like you're too sensitive. You're overreacting. You misunderstood. No one else has a problem. That is gaslighting. And gaslighting confuses your sense of reality. It makes you question your discernment. But Jesus did not teach endurance of mistreatment as righteousness. He taught boundaries. He withdrew from hostile crowds. He stopped answering manipulative questions. He walked away when necessary. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Some of you are staying in environments that diminish you, calling it humility, calling it patience, calling it loyalty. But loyalty to dysfunction is not holiness. And suffering under control is not obedience. God does not get glory from you being degraded. He gets glory from you walking in truth, from you protecting your peace, from you refusing to normalize manipulation. Because the abuse you can't see leaves invisible scars, anxiety, self-doubt, hypervigilance, silence. But awareness is the beginning of authority. You cannot confront what you won't name. Jesus endured the cross for purpose. He did not endure manipulation to appease insecure leaders. There's a difference. Don't confuse assignment with mistreatment. If it constantly diminishes your dignity, it's not alignment. If it constantly erodes your identity, it's not God. Soft authority does not tolerate what destroys its peace. It discerns, it addresses, it exits when necessary. No one talks about the abuse you can't see, but we will, because healing begins where denial ends. So soft authority does not mean small. So stay aligned and don't give up.